What is up, guys? Stas here. Welcome back to another video. So we had a strong day in the markets today. S&P 500 went up 0.6%. We had the Dow up 0.5%, Nasdaq up over 1%, and the Russell 2000 went up 0.3%. So I want to break down what happened. I want to look at some technicals, and of course, we're going to go over 7 stocks to buy now, what I did today in the markets as well. And I also want to share how I'm navigating the markets now as we just hit a brand new all-time high. So make sure to go down below, hit the like button, subscribe, get into the Strive Smart Discord chat, get some free money linked down below, $10 from M1 Finance, $10 from Coinbase, and 2 stocks from WeBull. And you guys can check out my Patreon for more access to me throughout the day, buy and sell alerts, call outs, and morning update videos. That is on the Patreon, linked right down below. So let's get into it. Again, green all across the board. S&P, Nasdaq, Russell, even gold and silver, both were green today. And the VIX was down, so that's a good sign when it comes to volatility and fear, because the VIX is the fear index. So as that's going down, volatility is easing up, and the fear, hence why it's called the fear index. And we saw an all-time high, S&P at 3970.08. And what do you know? We broke right out of that 3950 resistance from a couple weeks ago. That was from the all-time high in the middle of February. And you guys know on Thursday, we hit another all-time high, just a little bit above 3950 rather. And that was at 3960. And obviously, with the price action we saw at the end of the day today, which is pretty freaking crazy. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say manipulated, but that's pretty nuts what we just saw at the end of the day. We saw a 20-point pop in the S&P in literally 20 minutes, and now that's a move. It's not crazy. I mean, it's not a 3% move or 5% move. It was a 0.5% move. Still a pretty big move for the index overall in just a span of 20 minutes. And as we made that move, again, we hit an all-time high of 3970. So at this point in time, am I rushing into the markets? No. The RSI here, I mean, look at this. On the intraday chart, the RSI literally got up to 90, and look how it's flattening here. That means it can't go any higher. It can't go any higher. It is so overbought. So on the intraday chart, I'm expecting a pullback, and if we pull back on the hourly chart, right, we might end up seeing, based on this, a pullback as well. And sure, we might... Listen, guys, we might go up a little bit more. This momentum we saw at the end of the market, this could carry into tomorrow. It very well could. And this could go up to 4,000. But eventually, I believe we're going to cool off, probably back down to the mid to low 3,900s. That's where I think support lies heavily right now when it comes to the S&P, considering 3915 was such a big level on Friday, 3 trading days ago, and back in the beginning of March, right? So I think 3915 might hold, maybe 3900. That's if we were to see a bit of a pullback. And judging on the 4-hour, I mean, the RSI is not too bad. You guys can see the RSI. Yeah, it is more overbought, but it's not screaming like the intraday RSI. It's at a 95. This 4-hour RSI, it's at 66. So that goes back to what I said. We might see a little bit more juice left to 4,000, maybe tomorrow or the next day, who knows when, but we might see that, and then we might get a bit of a pullback after that to the low, maybe mid 3,900s. So those are some S&P thoughts. What do you guys think? What are you guys thinking and doing? Let me know down below in the comments. I would love to know. When it comes down to the tech-heavy index, we saw a bit of a bounce back in tech today, although big tech was a mixed bag. You guys can't see it because my face is right here, but Google went up 0.2%. Netflix went up 0.4%. Apple went up 2.4%. We'll talk about Apple later in the video, but we saw Microsoft down 0.4% and Amazon down 0.2%, and we saw Facebook up 2%. So again, mixed bag in tech today, but the Nasdaq 100 in general did well, up over 1%. In fact, it did the best out of all of the indexes here, at least the ones I track in the U.S., and the price action is looking very, very solid, and we're about to break out. This is a very key spot for the Nasdaq 100. If you guys can see on this 5-day chart, we actually took out the neckline of a potential head and shoulder, and that's a good sign, right? That the neckline was at about 12,980, so we broke out of that, and now we're about to test the head in that then head and shoulder. Now it's no longer valid, but we're about to test the head at about 13,100, so watch out for that point tomorrow. I think if we break that, and that's the high from Thursday, if we break that on the 5-day 5-minute, and then we go back to the 4-hour, you guys can see that's also correlating right around this 180 SMA on this 4-hour chart. If we break this level, I'm thinking 13,300 on the Nasdaq 100 is next. That's about a little, 230 point gap up. And then if we break out of that point, 13,300, which if you guys remember, I mean, I talked about that point, that level in last week's videos. So make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. If we break 13,300, 13,600 is next, which was the high from back in the end of January and early February. So those are some key levels I'm looking at for the Nasdaq 100. This is slowly looking strong. We broke the 50 SMA today, but again, we're still under the 180 SMA here on the 4-hour chart. So those are a couple of points. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Of course, as always, I would love to know. Let me know in the comments down below. And let's get into now what I did today. And if you guys saw in my Patreon group, which gets all my buy and sell alerts, call outs, what I'm doing throughout the day, you guys saw that I ended up cutting ties with a stock. And if you know what that stock is, shoot me a comment down below, or if you can guess what that stock is, it's I'll give you a second. It's Workhorse, WKHS. And now that I cut out of Workhorse, watch, guys, guaranteed, now that I cut out of Workhorse, it is going to go up. In fact, it is up from where I cut out of it, and I cut out at 1750. And you guys know the whole Workhorse story. I mean, if you guys and if you've been following me, you guys know that I've been in Workhorse, I've locked in profits, and you know what's going on. I mean, the USPS contract did not go as according to plan, and for me personally, guys, I was in at $22, right, weeks ago. I'm talking maybe even 2-3 months ago at this point, right? I was in at $22. I locked in a good amount of profits at $30, right? And I locked in, no joke, even more profits at $42. And if you guys watch my daily update videos, which is, again, why you must subscribe, right? I go over what I do every day, pretty much, right? Stocks I'm looking at. And I mentioned, look, I'm locking in profits at $42. That's what I did. And talk about timing, it dropped very aggressively from that point. After the USPS contract news came out, it went down even more, right? It got down to $11, and ever since it did drop, I mentioned to you guys, look, I'm not panic selling out of it just yet. I'm not going to sell out at $13, $14. I'm going to give it some time, and I think it's going to rebound back, and it slowly did that. And it got up to where I was telling you all, this is where I'm looking to sell out. Anywhere from 16 on the lower end, 17, 18. And if I get lucky, maybe $20, maybe 22. Maybe I could get out of this little position I have left, maybe at a small loss. And or even at a break even. And I didn't get lucky to the point where Workhorse went up to my break even, but I ended up saying, okay, $17.50, that's good enough, right? And that's where I cut ties with the stock today at $17.50. And net overall, over the past, 8 months that I've been trading Workhorse in and out many times, right? Overall, net, even though I lost about $5 per share on that little position I had left, which I just cut out of today, net, I'm still in the green by a long shot when it comes to my Workhorse trading in particular, right? So I'm not mad that I got out of this for a loss. If anything, I'm happy because look, you could use that as a tax benefit, right? You can write that against your losses, right? So that's a good sign. So that's what I'm going to end up doing when it comes to Workhorse. So that is the only move I made today, really. I locked in or cut out of, because I lost money on this part of the position. I got out of Workhorse, and now I have some free capital, right? I already had cash, but now I have even more cash to deal with. So I don't know yet. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. Of course, we're going to talk about some stocks here in a second. But yeah, Workhorse, I cut out of that. You all know I'm still in Tesla, TSLA. That's my biggest swing position as of now. And I'm trying to pull up my notes here. There we go. Tesla is one that I'm in. Tesla did well today. Ticker symbol TSLA went up over 2%. And you guys, do you remember that inverse head and shoulder we talked about? Was it Friday's video, Thursday's video, whatever? You guys remember that if you follow the channel. Left shoulder here, the head, the right shoulder. It was forming in between 670 and about 700. We consolidated there for a couple of trading days. And now today, we broke 700, which is such a big point on Tesla. And we closed that, excuse me, guys, almost at 710, 708 to be exact. And I believe this is just getting started. For the right shoulder to complete, ultimately Tesla is going to have to be in the low 800s, right? Low 800s, and now it's in the low 700s, which is why, again, I think it has a ways to go, and I believe it could get to that point. I think the next big resistance is 740. There's probably going to be some headway there, some resistance, because that's also where the 180 SMA is on the 4-hour chart here. So watch out for 740, and from there, 800 I think is where we're going. And yeah, I mean, I'm long Tesla. I was buying it on the way down. And who knows, I might even add more. At this point, I'm pretty much break even on the stock. You guys know I was buying at 800 a little bit, more in the 700s. I bought even heavier at 610. That was actually my lowest price where I bought it at. And now we're riding it back up. You know, we'll see how it goes. And, of course, I'll let you guys know. And Tattooed Chef is another one I'm still in. Shout out to Tattooed Chef today. It went up 4.4%. The inverse head and shoulder we called out on this bad boy is also playing out. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Today we broke 22, which is great. And I believe this is going up to 25. So I'm holding on tight to Tattooed Chef. SLV for silver exposure. I'm still in that. No surprises there. Chargepoint is another one I'm still in, which went down 7% today. And based on the hourly chart, look, guys, this downtrend is intact, right? We might go for that low. And you know, that's not going to be too great if we're already in the stock, which I'm already in the stock myself, and I know a lot of you guys are, but we'll be able to pick it up cheaper. I mean, if it takes the low out at 19 and we start to get somehow into the teens, guys, consider that a blessing, honestly. I think that would be a very good price. And I'm going to be getting more deep into the stock, or deeper, shall I say, into the stock there. So Chargepoint, I'm in that. NEO, I'm also still in. And NEO is still under 47. That is the big point that I've been talking about for this stock. And I believe once it takes out 47, we're going to be going most likely into the $53 level, anywhere from 53 to 55. So what are you guys up to? Shoot me a comment down below. What stocks are you buying, selling? How much cash do you have? Of course, I don't want to know your dollar value of your bank account, but what percentage cash are you working with? I mean, the markets are at all-time highs again. The Dow also hit an all-time high. Forgot to mention that. So, yeah, what are you guys up to? What are your thoughts? Shoot me a comment down below. And don't forget, if you're interested in that Patreon for buying, sell alerts, call-outs, more access to me, morning update videos, that is linked right down below. So, let's talk about a bunch of stocks here. Number one is DraftKings, DKNG. This one, I'm liking it. And we've covered this a lot on the channel, more times than I can even count. But at this point, we're seeing a sell-off, and rightfully so. This stock hit an all-time high recently at $74. We broke the previous all-time high resistance at about $73, and now we're pulling back. Today we went down almost 6%. We closed at $67.75, right? And I think a good price for DraftKings is maybe this 50 SMA on the 4-hour, right where we are right now at about 66, 67. That's a good initial target. We're already down 10% from the high, so that's a good initial price I'm looking at. But what I like even more is 65. If we can get down $2, $3 lower from where we are now, $65, that was the high from back in October, also back in the beginning of February. If we can hold that as a support, right? That's major. That's major in my opinion. That could be another entry point. But what's even better is if it gets down to, which ultimately I think it will, guys. I think it will. Judging on the past pattern here, or the past couple of patterns, right? We've seen many different patterns. I believe it could get down to $60, right around the 180 moving average here on the 4-hour. That will put it right around $60, $61, which if we're looking from the all-time high down to that point, $60, that would be a drop of close to 20%. So DraftKings, I'm watching it on this dip, although I'm not loading the boat yet because we're quite frankly not at the price I wanted at yet. I'm still watching it regardless, guys. So that's DKNG. QuantumScape QS is another one here. Let me break this down with you guys. This is one that maybe it doesn't have, I don't want to say that. Let me not say that. I was going to say it doesn't have that much juice left, but then again, if we take out $72, there could be some juice left, and we're only at 62, so there's room up to 72. And what I'm looking at here is an inverse head and shoulder. You guys can see it pretty much. Let me pull up this 20-day chart. You'll probably see it better there. Take a look here. Inverse head and shoulder. We have the left shoulder right here. You got the head right here, and then you have the right shoulder right here. And where's that right shoulder going to complete? Likely at about $70, right? 70, $72, going back to that target I just said. And that's about 15% higher from where we are right now. So there is upside. And if 72 tests and breaks, the next big point is going to be about $80. So I think QuantumScape went up a little bit too fast. It went from about $10 to $140, which is freaking unbelievable. And then it went down to about $30, $35, $40. And slowly but surely, recently, it's been climbing back up. So this could be a moment of truth spot for QuantumScape, especially at $72, considering we failed there multiple times in the past. So watch out for this one. Nvidia is another one that I've covered a lot on the channel, but now it's finally showing some price action that I really like. This went up 2.6% today. It went up $13 per share, and I guess it's safe to say we're officially back into this channel with support at 510 and resistance at about 555. And you guys can see for yourselves. I mean, every time that we've gotten in this channel, we've made the move from 510 to 555. Not every time, but for the most part, at least on this 4-hour chart, we have done that. And on the 4-hour chart, you're also seeing the 50 moving average broke today. That was at 510. And the 180 moving average is close to 550, which is the next big resistance. So I think there's more upside here on Nvidia. I think it's just getting started. And even if 555 goes, it goes to that point. That's a 3-4% move. That's great, right? And we break that point, I think there's even more upside. I think we could end up getting back up to $600, and that's about, excuse me, guys, about 12% upside. So Nvidia is looking great. It looks like it's holding 475, low 500s. This is a very good sign. And Fisker, FSR, is another one which admittedly isn't the most beautiful looking pattern by any stretch of the imagination, but the reason why I'm looking at it here is because we're approaching those high points, 2 levels of resistance previously, at about, $22. That was where we held, or not held, it was resistance back in the middle of July, and that was at $22, and it was also resistance in the end of November. So I believe if this point can hold, and today we're down 2%, we actually closed above 2250. If we hold 2250, guys, and we kiss that old resistance as new support, I believe we might be able to see a move off of that, maybe back into the mid-20s. But the second we break 22, I believe 19 is where we're going. And either or could be a great point of entry. We just have to see what the technicals give us. So, watch out for 2250. That breaks. Yeah, $20, 19 is probably where it's going. So that's Fisker. XOM is another one I'm looking at. This has outperformed so many stocks, guys. And for me personally, when it comes to my long-term portfolio, and I disclosed this a couple weeks ago, this is probably my biggest performing. It's not my biggest stock by any means, but it might be one of my best performing ones as of late. And you guys know, I was buying XOM in the low 40s at about $42, $40. And let me take a quick bit of coffee here, guys. Hold up. Yeah, anywhere from like 42, 45 is where I was buying. And I was saying, look, I believe as the economy is opening up, energy is going to be used more, obviously. This is a good reopening trade. And I got in. Now it's up 30% from that point. I did not sell yet. And I don't plan on really selling anytime soon. And I just got paid a juicy dividend, guys. They're paying, when I got in, it was 8% dividend. Now it's like, my phone's dead, but I think it's like a 5.5% dividend. So it's still paying a good dividend. Now it's down about $2 off its highs. Nothing crazy, but we can see in the past, we've held the 50 SMA for the past month, every little pull down we've seen. So I want to see if that repeats itself. You guys can already see there is a green candlestick forming on the 4-hour chart right above the 50 moving average. So that's a good sign. If we collapse under that moving average, though, which might not be a bad sign for people that want to add more, obviously, we might be going $55, maybe $53, which could be a point of support at about the 180 moving average here on the 4-hour, which again, it's done so well, XOM, that I would not be mad if that happened. If anything, I might even add more to my position if XOM got down to the mid to low 50s, guys. So XOM, I like it. AirBnB is another one. ABNB is the ticker. Today it went up over 1.5%. And we covered this last week, and I mentioned to you guys a couple of levels I was looking at. One of the main ones was at about $203, $204, right around this downtrend. You guys can see the downtrend resistance, or the resistance of the wedge. You guys can see that is one level I was looking at right around here, 202 to 205, let's put it. And I said if that were to break, which did happen today, I was telling you guys, watch out for 210, 211. That's probably where we're going to struggle. And that's where we closed under today. And you can see we actually got to about 213 earlier in the day. And you can see how strong of a resistance, which again is why these technicals matter. You can see how strong of a resistance this 212 level is. We got hit there pre-market, market open, all throughout the day, up until the last couple of minutes here, we were struggling at 212. So I think, or 210 rather too, right? So I think if Airbnb breaks this point, boom, big gap fill to 220, no doubt about it. That's about 4%. And I think 220 could even break, guys. And maybe 225, 230 is where we're going. So I think Airbnb has upside here. It's on the verge of a breakout. So I'm watching that. And the last one is Apple, ticker symbol AAPL, which today went up 2.4%, up $3 a share. Clear resistance at 120, or support rather. Clear as day, we're holding that, which is a good sign. That was resistance back in the middle of November. It was support back in the middle of December, right? We also held it all throughout this sell-off pretty much. We did go down to the mid-110s, 115 to be exact, and we recovered over it. So that's a good sign. 120 is big support on Apple. Now we're breaking out of this little, actually, no, ignore that. That doesn't matter. But now we're actually getting close to that point of resistance, which is the next gap to fill at about 127. And now that I'm seeing it, Apple's actually up after market hours. So, yeah, 127's in play. I think that could touch some point this week. Hey, maybe even tomorrow. And that is a moment of truth spot for Apple, because if 127 breaks, I believe truly that the next spot we're going, high 130s. 137, 138 is the next resistance from the beginning of September and from the end of December, guys. And from honestly all of February pretty much, at least the first half of February. So watch out for those points on Apple, guys. Those are all the stocks I'm watching right now. My thoughts on the market, S&P, Nasdaq. Now, I want to know what you guys think. As always, shoot me a comment down below. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. If you guys just subscribe and hit that like button, that shows so much. I really appreciate it. It shows your support, and that's just awesome to me, and it pushes me to make more videos. And yeah, make sure to get yourself some free money while you're at it. There's 2 stocks from WeBull waiting for you. Those are valued up to $1,600. All you have to do is deposit $100, and you get 2 stocks using my link down below. And you guys can check out my Patreon if you want real-time buy and sell alerts, call-outs, morning update videos, updates throughout the day. And if you want more access to me throughout the day as well, Patreon is the best spot for that. So I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. As always, keep crushing the markets, guys. Stay safe out there. Again, thanks for watching. It means a lot to me, guys. Peace out.